morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to our latest Interclean online innovation and inspiration session. Our series of webinars where we look ahead towards Interclean Amsterdam 2022 in May. Today, we'll focus on the digital cleaning, the future of a digital cleaning industry, robotization, automated cleaning, and much more. If I could please ask all the participants that are not actively speaking or presenting or having a participation in the panel discussion to please turn off their cameras and microphones so that only our speakers are in the image. We have an exciting program for you today, a keynote on the washroom of the future, a panel discussion on efficiency, cleaning more efficiently using data and robots, followed by an interactive breakout on that same topic and a use case presentation. But first, our keynote, given by someone who has become known as the Dutch toilet expert here in the Netherlands after her widely publicized PhD project on improving hygiene in the toilets of the Dutch railway system. I'd like to introduce to you Marion Loda. Good morning, Marion. There she is. I'd like to give the floor to Marion, who will talk today about toilets and technology, a challenging route. Marion, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. A warm welcome on this great Interclean webinar. Thank you for the invitation to speak. Can you see my screen well?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfectly. Absolutely.
Okay, very good. My name is Marion Loda. I'm a postdoc toilet designer and researcher at the TU Delft. My presentation will be about toilets and technology, challenging route. My interest for toilets started at Sphinx Maastricht, where I developed in cooperation with Sphinx and currently named as Geberit. And I researched and designed Lady P, a female urinal, for my master graduation project at TU Delft. I returned to TU Delft after a while to start my PhD project in cooperation with NS, named Design for Sanitation: How does design influence train toilet hygiene? And this I finalized quite recently in April. I built a toilet lab at the faculty with several mock-ups. We did many researches with many participants, and one of the mock-ups of the NS train toilet, designed in cooperation with NS, is currently being implemented in intercity trains. But we all know, I think so, that public and train toilets are perceived as being dirty, even when they are regular cleaned. That is not often the case, but even if they would be regular cleaned, they are perceived as being dirty. But why? And that is because it gives, in principle, an unhygienic perception, a dirty perception. A toilet is a spot where human waste, feces, urine, and blood is excreted, and those are the materials that we consider as very dirty, particularly feces from strangers, and where the journey of diseases can start. But what is dirt? The phenomenon that I researched. Now, Mary Douglas wrote in her book, Purity and Danger, that dirt is as a matter out of place, and dirt is essentially disorder, and things need to be in place. We strive to achieve order. So the aim of the research is that the sanitary human dirt, so feces, blood, urine, paper, sanitary pads, all the stuff, tampons and water, ends up in the intended places by studying normal toilet usage, so that it will not end out of place, so not on the floor, not on the toilet seat or the wall. And the focus was usage or is usage driven. I studied many participants, and even though a toilet seat is designed for comfortable seated use, the majority of users opt to avoid touching the toilet seat. So they keep a distance between the toilets. They adopt a standing posture or a hovering posture. The train toilet is also inclusive. It's an inclusive train toilet design, including specific user groups such as wheelchair users, small children, rollator users, babies, people who are visually restricted. I did many observations, so I observed really how people used a train toilet, which was broadcasted on the Dutch journal. And the results were that standing urination in a standard train toilet is impossible without spillage, so urine out of place. And that is what we actually all know, but I have proved it scientifically. And that support actions were performed to counterbalance the train shaking movement. So this is the original design of the clean train toilet, and an urinal is added. So it is divided in a sitting, hovering zone and a standing zone, and with many support options and support platforms for children's feet to encourage the users in their autonomy. I start my thesis with the two sentences: the toilet touches our lives, but we do not want to touch the toilet. And what I mean with that is that we try to keep a distance from toilets. We are gradually distancing ourselves from our personal hygiene practices. And we now are arriving in a technical, inclusive era. And the main transformation is that our personal hygiene practices are transformed from a social affair into an individual concern and tilt with an aura of embarrassment. So in the past, in Roman times, the usage of the toilet fulfilled a social activity. We were chatting with each other on the toilet. Now, end of the 18th century, wildplassen, urination in the wild, was quite normal. And nowadays, people can receive a fine of 140 euros for it. So technology is the next step, is my conclusion, to increase the distance we keep between our personal hygiene practices. And that is because hygiene standards and privacy have become increasingly important and stimulated by the fear of disease, such as the plague, the cholera, and now we are in the pandemic COVID-19. And that is part of human life. Pandemics are part of human life, such as in the Middle Ages, we were afraid for the plague, and now we are afraid for the COVID. And that is therefore an increased, we developed an increased awareness of hygiene, also reinforced by the developments in the scientific area. And now we avoid to touch items in the toilet environment, which is increasingly supported by technology, by sensors, automatic hand washing and drying, and all it is reinforced by the fear of disease. I also designed in one mock-up a touch-free area, and I will show you. It is patented also, so it is meant to encourage users to wash their hands after using a urinal. So it's a touch-free zone, and when the user steps back from the urinal, a sensor activates the waters discharged from the tap, and the sound and view of water reminds the user to wash the hands. And the gray water that comes out of the tap, flushes the urinal, so it is also a water-saving option. The shower toilet is also a very, very good example that we are distancing ourselves from our personal hygiene practices. Instead of using toilet paper to clean the buttocks, we press a button so that the buttocks are automatically cleaned with water. But more importantly, it provides a better hygienic experience. The buttocks are better cleaned. The removal of dirt, so the cleaning area, also becomes increasingly important, and the panel discussion will cover this more in detail. And so just-in-time cleaning by cleaners, that is data-driven cleaning. Dirty toilets are traced. Cleaners receive an app so that they can clean the dirty toilets sooner. And refined high-tech automatic self-cleaning solutions, so that after each toilet use, the toilet is cleaned automatically. And this seems ideal, but needs to be developed further. In addition, that cleaners can clean toilets on a higher level. They also include a human aspect, because the challenge is for the technology is that to bridge the quality of automatic cleaning with the humanity of toileting. And we are now entering that phase. It's also important to involve the cleaners and that they keep autonomous. The challenging route of technology. So be aware that it also becomes more inclusive. So the average person, someone who does not practically exist, the dependency on toilet versus autonomous and that we want to stay autonomous and in control, and a basic and natural need, which is toileting. It's a second nature routine. We do not really think about it. And it is a contradiction with a techno-automatic solution. And we are now in a transition phase. So we are now that eventually technical solution will also become second nature by the users. I will finish with my takeaway message. Technology in the toilet and cleaning domain has many opportunities to enhance the hygienic experience, also to support cleaners in their arduous task. But the interest of the users comes first, human-centered design. So test the proposed technology with a representative group of users, also vulnerable people, such as wheelchair users and also children. And the aim is that technology cleans the toilet and the cleaner becomes an operator. This was it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Marion. And I guess I need to take a train ride on one of the new intercity trains, because I've become very curious about this revolutionary toilet. For our viewers back home or back in the office, if you have a question for Marion, of course, feel free to drop this into the chat. We have a few moments, a few minutes to speak with Marion on these questions. Myself, I've been intrigued. You talk a lot about, of course, the cleaning person, but in the end, it's toilet in the public domain. So also, you're asking sometimes something a little bit from the user itself to keep the toilet itself clean as well. Just like you always see this on an airplane. As a courtesy to the next passenger, please wipe off the washing basin. You don't really see this in a train. Is that a specific reason? Are people not willing to keep the toilets clean, to help keep the toilets clean?
Yeah, good question. Yes, they are willing to clean the toilet afterwards. That they have indicated that in my questionnaire. And they also one person showed it from the 45 that also cleaned the toilet a little bit. People flush a lot, and that is actually the only way to clean the toilet. But yeah, a facility to clean the train toilet is not available in the train toilet, such as a toilet brush, and that is in the airplane it's available. And the reason is that NS is reluctant to add a toilet brush because they are afraid of possible misuse. But I think if there would be a good facility, so that is for further development, that users also can clean the toilet themselves, that would be a very good option.
Okay, and I think in general, giving this toilet a nicer atmosphere, making it look nicer, then I guess people are also more willing to keep it clean. If you come into a nice facility, you're probably more eager to also keep it nice, tidy, than when you go into like a very dirty bathroom that gets dirty already. So why should I clean it? Did you see that in your analysis or in your questionnaire?
Yeah, it's not clear whether people are more careless in a public toilet environment. I could not really show it. I have researched it, but it also has to do with norms, and the norm of a train toilet is that it is already dirty. But cleaners play a very important role to stop the negative spiral that dirt attracts dirt. So in general, it seems really plausible that if the environment is clean, that the user will also react to leave it cleaner behind. But I could not, it is plausible, but I could not show it in my research.
In general, I think it would be a great development. I mean, I think in general, people always have the idea, the perception, even now still, of course, that you prefer not to go to the restroom when you're on the train. Prefer, well, I'll wait till I get home, or I'll wait till I'm at my appointment. I'll use the bathroom there instead of going to this. It's almost like an emergency use restroom instead of a restroom that you don't use when you have to. So let's hope that changes with your new design. There are a couple of questions also coming in from the audience, so let's take a look at that. Jordan Petkov is asking, now maybe this is too technical for you or not within your scope, but he's asking, would you consider the inclusion of chemical-based disinfectant in your design?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, the cleaners who use chemical cleaning agents are actually not, that will be my next step. So I have not a lot of knowledge about it now, but it will be my next step. And I know there is a lot of development on it with ozone, and there's also a discussion to is it necessary to disinfect it or just to clean it? Because disinfection is on a higher level. You also have with the self-cleaning toilets also measurements that it is already a little bit self-cleaning. But I cannot give a very good answer on this question, and I think that will be discussed in the panel discussion.
Okay, and then another question then from Rob. He is asking, will toilet paper perhaps disappear in the Netherlands and start to use water? Do you think that's the future?
Oh, that's a very nice question. Also more in my area. Yeah, it is. It goes very slowly. So so the development of the toilet goes very, very, very slowly. But yes, on the other hand, we are really used to use toilet paper. But on the other hand, what I said, the main thing is that the shower toilet really cleans better. So it solves the problem better. And it is also a way, what I explained, that to distance ourselves and to press a button. Yeah. So, yes, and also in my questionnaire, people were willing to clean the buttocks with water. So I expect it will happen, but it will be very, very slowly. It will happen very, very slowly.
Yeah, well, I have to admit, it would take some getting used to for myself as well. So maybe the question from Erik Dix, then he asked, and perhaps that is the answer. What would be the ultimate solution to present a clean toilet to every visitor? Would that not using paper be part of your dream solution?
What the ideal toilet is?
Yeah, in your opinion.
The ideal toilet is, of course, because cleaners and the users are really interconnected, so that the toilet is cleaned after each usage by cleaners. I think for now, because they contribute to a human aspect, and that there will be a facility so that the users will also be triggered to clean the toilet.
Yeah.
And to add a urinal in the toilet, and toddler platforms or children platforms, so that many people can use the toilet.
Yeah, so like a very inclusive bathroom, like you said, and that really comes in line with what Schneider is now saying in the chat. Did you also look into differences in gender, distribution of number of women's versus men's rooms, inclusivity? Is because I think in the train, even in the new trains, that I assume there's still one toilet, and not a men's room and a woman's room, or.
Yeah, that is in the train toilet. The toilets are gender neutral.
Yeah.
I also designed a gender neutral toilet. On the other hand, men and women, I do not need to explain it, but they use the toilet differently. So therefore, I'm really a proponent of urinals, because they are also more comfortable to use, and they are more hygienic.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We have to move on. So final question, 2 quick questions. First from Stefan Liebminger. He asked, he's a microbiologist, so discussing from his stand of view. Did you also look at the tracking of microbes and germs in the restroom?
Yeah,
when designing the toilet?
Yes, that's also a next step that I'm going to make in the hospital. Yes, I did. It was difficult, because it also is a matter of the health of the person. So that you get ill also has to do with your own health. So it can be, so a toilet can be a place that microorganisms that people will be infected, but it is also dependent on the health of the person itself. So it's quite difficult, and the cleaning is so actually the toilets are cleaner. So the toilet seat is cleaner than, for example, your keyboard, because that is not cleaned frequently, and there are many microorganisms.
Yeah, so if you quick wins, first the keyboard and then the toilet. Okay, thank you very much, Marion. Looks like you have a lot of new interesting research ahead of you as well. So perhaps you can give us an update in a few years or in 2 years, whenever your research is ready on all these interesting questions that our audience has asked. For now, I'd like to thank you a lot for joining us today, for taking your time to present your research to us, and for sharing your views and for answering the questions of our audience. Thank you very much. And then for us, it's time to move on to the panel discussion. So I would like to introduce our 3 panelists for today. I'd like to ask them to switch on their cameras and unmute themselves. Our first panelist today is Nancy Farrell, Senior Product Manager at Essity for the Torque Vision cleaning product. She works a lot on strategy, customer insights, analytics to define the right products for when it comes to data-driven cleaning. She's based in Philadelphia in the US. Our second panelist is Dirk Tuip. He is a board member of the Facility Data Standard Consortium, as well as the CEO of Facility Apps, a SaaS startup providing a mobile workforce management system. Do we have Dirk?
Yes, I'm here.
There he is. Good afternoon, Dirk. And finally, Peter Questro, Global Business Development Director at Gaussian Robotics. Very experienced in the cleaning industry, over 31 years of experience in a lot of cleaning manufacturer companies, and nowadays at Gaussian Robotics. Good afternoon, Peter.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
There he is. Welcome. So our panel discussion today, for those that have not joined a Interclean innovation session before, after this panel discussion, we'll move into breakouts where you can engage with these panelists to talk further about the subjects that they are discussing here today. But first, we're going to talk with these three panelists on digitalization, cleaning more efficiently, using robots, using data, etc., etc. So I'd like to go to Nancy first. Nancy.
Hi.
Hello. Good morning for you. I think it's quite early still in Philadelphia, is it?
Yes.
What time is it?
8:30, not too early.
It's not that bad. Not that bad. I was afraid it might be in the middle of the night for you, but that's not that bad. So when you look at data-driven cleaning, and you know, the pandemic that's been with us unfortunately for almost 2 years now, for I think more than 2 years already. What type of insights did you get during the pandemic?
Yeah, it was really interesting, you know, obviously, just like Marion was talking about, it's all about hygiene now, and people are really recognizing the importance of hygiene, and not that it wasn't always important, but of course it put it on the forefront, right? And people are really adopting more hygienic behaviors, both when they're out in public and also in their homes. And we saw this, you know, when we look at the data from our customers, you know, around the world, right? And they operate many different public spaces, from offices to manufacturing sites to public venues, stadiums, you know, you name it. And so what we saw is actually that there was an uptick in hand hygiene usage of our products. And this came as no surprise, right? And we saw that people were really using more things like soap, sanitizer, even hand towels, right? So that really points to this behavior change of more and more frequent hand washing. So that was really the first and foremost. You know, for example, the skincare usage, you know, almost doubled, and even more than that in some of the spikes during the pandemic. So it was really an interesting insight, because it's sort of proving, using data to really prove what we all are, you know, thinking now, which is that people are driving more towards that type of behavior.
This was actual, there was not research asking people, hey, do you clean your hands? But this was actually seeing the usage, seeing these devices being used more often to clean hands, to get more skincare, and etc.
Exactly. So what we looked at was actually the per user consumption. So while the overall number of visitors in public spaces obviously went down due to quarantines and lockdowns, what we found is that per person, they were using more of all of these products. So that really is how we analyze the behavior change, and we could see a significant movement.
Right. And how does this data-driven solutions offer better facility hygiene? How does this help?
Yeah, I mean, data-driven cleaning is all about using, like I said, right? It's all about using the proof, the hard data as facts to support your cleaning. We want to make sure that nobody, especially today, is using guesswork, right, anywhere throughout the facility, and really trying to see where and when there are urgent needs based on, you know, we use sensor technology. There are many other types of technologies out there. We marry sensor technology with software, and together facility managers, cleaning staff can really see how many visitors have come through. And that's very important for things like touch point cleaning. They can see, you know, which of these dispensers need to be restocked, or which cleaning tasks are most urgent right now. And all of this creates an ecosystem that supports better facility hygiene, because today, of course, there are more tasks. They're more complex tasks. We'll actually go into it a little bit more during the session with Greg, my colleague. But overall, we want to make sure that data-driven cleaning is about changing the way of working, right? It's not about adapting what you've always done. It's about really making the shift towards using what our system is offering to see where and when they need to clean, when they need to do it very specifically. And so today that supports better hygiene, a safer environment by really making sure that we're hitting the right touch points at the right times, and that we're really maximizing the time and resources in the right way to make the most impact.
Well, thank you, Nancy. Hold that thought on maximizing optimization, because that in the end comes down to efficiency. So I want to get back to you on that later in the discussion. But I'd like to move forward to Dirk, because I think everything you just said also must sound like a dream to him, because he's with the Facility Data Consortium, who is all about connecting sensors, software, generating data. Dirk, for those that are not familiar with the Facility Data Standard Consortium, what is it? What are you doing there? And what's the dream? What's the vision?
Yeah, maybe it's good to first tell a little bit about my background, because I started in a cleaning company. From there, I saw first really cleaning itself. From there, the administration side, and also more the commercial side. And then somehow I ended up in a SaaS software company, which is providing an app platform for cleaning companies. And there we are already busy. I think 4 years ago, we started with sensors in a building, and then the problems arise. We found out that Torque was working with a platform already and start building, but the same was for CWS, for example. And from my experience in the contract cleaner, from contract cleaner side, yeah, there you see that they don't have one vendor or one supplier. If you look at materials, if you look at dispensers, so ultimately it was very difficult to get sensors in a building up and running, get data in. So we didn't really progress there from facility apps perspective. The same you have from contract cleaners perspective. You don't use one app, you don't use one supplier. So for the contract cleaner, they need more data from different systems. And then I met during the Interclean in Amsterdam. I met an American lady, Jill Fry, and also another American, and we already partnered up with some of our partners, and they all had the same problem: how to connect those systems. And also from software company perspective, because a lot of companies also here, Torque is also already a bit of software company, how to connect also their platform, their data with other systems as well. And I think it's now very costly. So it's really a customized thing. If we want to connect with Torque, we need to talk with their development, and they have a database structure and we have a database structure, and how to connect that and what to connect. And then when we were at the last Interclean show in the US, a coalition was formed, a board, and it's a non-profit organization. It's called Facility Data Standard. The idea is to get towards one standard way of connecting software with each other. And if you have that documentation, if you know how to connect, then you can connect faster. So for software companies and ultimately the end user, it's more affordable because systems will be connected in the future already. Ideally, we already have a connection with Peter, with his robot, which is generating data. We already should have a connection with Torque, for example. That should be more standard. And in that way, the customer is not being used in the right way. But he has the profit of the different data streams that are available, so that we can really make a step, not in one pilot in one building, no, in a lot of buildings worldwide, where data is already available, and data is then used better. So ultimately, the customer is more happy with the services that are provided. It's more clear what will be delivered, and that also the end user, in my case now the contract cleaner, doesn't pay too much.
So benefits for the contract cleaner: cleaning more efficiently, having a connected device, seeing everything that he needs to do is all connected on the same device. But how does the end user benefit, the facility manager of a building?
Yeah, what we also found out from our perspective is that always the big question is from whom is the data that is being gathered. So if you talk about the dispenser company, they generate data, and yeah, they can say the data is from us because it's our product and we lease it towards the customer. But in a building, if you put in a sensor in a toilet room or in an important gathering room, and you want to gather occupancy data, for example, then you are already a bit you have a strange discussion, because the building owner is an actor in that. The facility manager is an actor, and the cleaning company wants to use the data. And ultimately, it's about getting the cleaner better connected towards the areas where they are needed most. And then end user, yeah, ultimately, of course, the end user in a building really notice that the cleaning level is high.
Yeah. So in the end, better and more efficient cleaning. Let me park it right there. I'll come back to you later on. But first, I want to go towards Peter. Peter, when you talk about robotization, how do you do it with data? Because those robots, they must be compiling tons of data as well.
Yes, of course. The robots, of course, like to eat the data, as I always say. So the trend now is that we use the data to make more efficient cleaning. This is actually the two key words. So efficient cleaning based on real data, on real-time data, actually. So the robot can on real time act on this and do his tasks, or the operator can, of course, change the route or change the way the robot has to clean that day. And but more efficiency is actually the key. So waste less time and resources, use less energy, use less water, and use less chemicals. So the urgency has never been higher today, as the lack of cleaning staff has also never been higher. And so the need for a higher cleaning list to prevent sick leave and even pandemic situations, which can disrupt global economies, as we all know, I think we really do need to act now. So the initiative that Dirk is doing is great, also Torque, and we combine those forces and we use those data, and we're not fighting over the data, then we can really make a big step forward, is my opinion.
Yeah. So, what does that mean? You mentioned labor shortage already, cleaning more efficiently. So what can a robot do to help solve that labor shortage?
Well, actually in two ways. So the first way is, of course, directly. So it can clean a floor, for example, or vacuum a floor, or sweep a floor, or dust mop a floor, or wet mop a floor, and even very soon also crystallize a floor. But on the other hand, the most benefit, of course, of a robotic to use in your building is to save time to do other tasks as well. So, for example, to clean more contact areas where you don't want to have any germs, and you don't have the time for it, or you don't have the staff for it, because today there's a big problem. As today we are having 4 people working and 1 on pension. But very soon, the next 10 to 15 years, this will be 1 person working actually, and 2 people in pension. And this is great for the people that are in pension, but of course, somebody has to do the job. So you have to generate some space somewhere on the line, and a robot can really help in this matter and save time for other tasks you have to do.
So not only cleaning more efficiently, but also with a higher quality.
Yeah. Yes, efficiency, higher quality, and consistency. So a robot, of course, is a very consistent way of cleaning, but it has several advantages. Beside higher hygiene and beside efficiency, it also is very consistent. So the quality is also very high if you use a robot on a daily basis.
Yeah. Okay. If we then move back to Nancy, we touched efficiency already a little bit in what you said before. We touched, but what about quality? How, what are benefits related to quality when it comes to data-driven cleaning?
Yeah, so what we've seen is that, when you're using the data to support the cleaning and not just normal routines, that quality, absolutely improves. And that's because of a lot of what Dirk and Peter said too, right? We're trying to improve the amount of time that you have to target different tasks. So when you're using the data to see where and when cleaning is needed, you're not doing unnecessary cleaning. And today, of course, that's really important because we don't want people to be spending time on something that doesn't matter as much towards hygiene or towards that safe environment. And when we're able to free up that time to let them do those things, then the overall quality improves. The other piece of that is that, we've heard from our customers that they're able to not only do more, but because they're able to really track it and to do better reporting, they're able to see the quality improve. We have things like quality standards, right? So a cleaner, for example, can go into an area and then they set how clean or dirty it was. So over time, you can start to monitor what the quality level was of that area before you entered and then potentially after. So you really see that improvement, and that really helps drive towards better quality because you know how to target the areas that were less clean versus wasting time on the areas that are consistently very clean. So all of those things together really drive towards better overall quality, which of course then today leads to better overall hygiene.
Yeah, and I guess also in overall better experience of the visitors or the users of the facility. I can imagine, because they see it's more clean, they see it's a better quality cleaning. So I assume that also lead to a better appreciation of the building, and that's of course when we return back to the office, when we return back to other public spaces, we want to be assured that it's clean, and also want to see that it's clean.
Exactly. I mean, we work with, a lot of higher end buildings too, right? And before, it used to be about maintaining the perception for the end user, right? So they walk in and they want, of course, the highest quality experience, like you were saying. Today, that hasn't gone away. They still want that great experience, but now there's so many additional layers on top of it. So that's where we're really trying to solve for and making even more of an impact today.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll move quickly back to Peter before going back to Dirk as well. Robots. What are the latest developments in terms of robots? I mean, they've come a long way since they first started being introduced in the cleaning industry. But what's the urgency? What's the trends when it comes to robots and digitalization?
Well, there's a lot of things changing right now. Only if you look back to 4 years and we go to today, it's tremendous differences. One of them is to give also a reaction on what Nancy just said. What we are also now are capable of with robots, but is totally new to the market, is that a robot can actually see where the dirt is. So he can detect the stains on the floor. So he's collecting in a very practical way the data in real time, and he can act accordingly. So the robot doesn't have to clean the whole floor if it's not dirty, if there are no stains. Of course, you can always have the robot doing this afterwards or once a day or something. But during daytime, for example, in the big airport, you can have the robots just driving around and they are kind of patrolling around, and they search for the dirt, they search for the stains, and they only clean where it's necessary. So in this way, you save a lot of energy, water, chemicals, everything, and you have a better quality during the whole day, and you prevent that people are walking through the dirt and through stains, making it actually more messy. So sometimes data and my collection of data can be very practical. This is one of the things, but the most advantage, of course, in what is going better now is the software. So the software is very developed at this moment. So it's very easy to map a space very quickly. We can do up to 3,000 square meters in an hour. We can only make a map of this and then have the robot directly fulfill this map. So this is great. And it's very easy to make it now possible, and also dynamic areas and very complex areas where it was not possible about 4 or 5 years ago. So this is making a huge difference, software and some less steps in development. And we are not finished, by the way. So we hope to bring to you some very news in May, of course, as well.
All right, and what can cleaning robots do when it comes to a pandemic like COVID-19? Nancy talked about changing consumer behavior, more hand washing, more hand hygiene. That's something, of course, that we know. But what can cleaning robots do in this matter?
Well, cleaning robots can, of course, keep it clean, as I just explained. So this is important why it can now detect also dirt. So people feel, they behave differently when the area is also clean. And the area is dirty and smells like urine, or, for example, they are not feeling really safe, and they're not feeling really, to keep the place clean. So cleaning robots can save a lot of time there, of course. For doing also other tasks. So, for example, if you want to have more time for changing, for cleaning contact points, or changing disinfectants, hand disinfectants, or changing ventilation systems, etc., or filling the dispensers of torque, then you can have a robot doing the floor cleaning for you and save many hours a day. So you have the time for this. Although we have a lack of staff, you can still find some time. So robots can make a tremendous difference in the pandemic situation, actually.
Good to hear that. Thank you. Go back to Dirk. Dirk, 1 minute pitch. Why should companies join the Facility Data Standard Consortium?
Yeah, I think almost every company in the future will have software components or will be a software company. And I also believe that we are now in an era of Web 2, and we will fast go to Web 3. So you see all kinds of blockchain technology, and Web 3 will all be about open data, open platforms. And I think if we will not move towards that, then we will get stuck in innovation, and we can't really use the ultimate benefits of data and software. So Facility Data Standard doesn't own any data, doesn't save data. It's only a way of connecting. And we need every company in facility and the cleaning industry that is involved with software. So even Nancy and even Peter, we need them. We need their data. Ultimately, the end user needs their data, and not only their data, but also mine data and other data as well. And that's the standard. That's the standard idea.
Sounds like an open invitation for Peter and Nancy to drop by the Facility Data Standard booth at Interclean in May. You already mentioned Interclean earlier. What will FDS do during Interclean?
Yeah, FDS will be involved at the innovation area. It will have a booth over there. We will also organize drinks, and we hope that we will also showcase some use cases where already different parties are connecting with each other. So to name a few members, CWS is a member, Haltian, Kerger, Nilfisk, Cummins Facility Service, Halo Digital Hub, Vileda Professional, Team Software from the US. And they are already now in working committees busy in connecting with each other. And yeah, ultimately the end user and the contract cleaner, they will have the benefit, but then we need more members. So the Interclean will be a big moment for us, and especially for Daniel Messer. I want to give him a shout out, because he spends a lot of time on this, and he really wants to make this work. And yeah, he doesn't get paid. It's a non-profit, so we do this for the industry.
And it's very good that you guys do that. It does sound like a very great initiative that we as Interclean gladly support, of course. And with that, I'd like to conclude the panel discussion already. Time flies. Time to move on to our breakout session. Dirk, thank you very much for your time and for participating and for sharing your views. Nancy, Peter, thank you as well for joining the panel discussion. But you will actually both be with us to moderate 2 of the 3 breakout sessions. The breakouts, for those who are joining us for the first time, they are interactive sessions, so you're all invited to turn on your camera, to turn on your microphone, to join the conversation. We'll have 3 breakouts. You'll be automatically sent to one of those breakouts within the next few moments. One will be moderated by Nancy Farrell, and a second one will be by Craig from Essity, and the third by Peter from Gaussian. So I'm going to ask the people working behind the scenes to start the breakouts. In about 15 to 18 minutes, you'll return back here to our main session for the continuation of this session. But for now, I'd like to wish everybody a very nice and interactive breakout session, and look forward to seeing you later. Welcome back. I hope everyone had a nice breakout. maybe just a quick check-in with our moderators. Nancy, any interesting insight, any interesting takeouts from your breakout session?
Hi, yes, definitely. We talked a little bit more about some of the data I was talking about, right? How hygiene behaviors are shifting and what the outlook could be for the next couple of years here. How COVID will continue to be a really big part of our mind share, even as the infection rates go down and we can return to work in other public spaces. It's sort of in our brains now. It's not really going away, so to speak. So that will continue to really affect behaviors as we move forward. We did some interactive polls with the audience too, and really asked what are some of the ways that they've seen changes over the past couple of years with COVID-19. And the answers really pointed towards things like more cleaning rounds, more frequency. Disinfection was a really big one. So, you can see how certain types of tasks are becoming more important and more frequent, and overall cleaning is just having, higher demand. We also talked about, how we could see some of the changes and what are people using out there already. And I think, to Peter and Dirk will be glad to hear this too, the majority of the audience are already using software solutions. About half were using robotics and different, sensor technologies. So really, that points to how we will continue to use digital solutions and potentially at a faster pace now that we're, getting into this state where we're trying to return and create that safe environment for everybody.
Sounds very interesting. Craig, any different insight, anything else you want to share from your breakout?
Yeah, I mean, just to add to some of the conversations within our group were around some of the different segments. So, obviously we talk a lot about return to work and offices, but we had questions around data-driven solutions within healthcare, within the industrial segment. So I think it's a really important one that, really, there's customer cases and there's opportunity within all segments, within all public spaces to be able to benefit from data-driven solutions.
Sounds good.
That was one. And just data, in terms of flexibility to with facility apps, with the FDS, I think it's very important that people take a very collaborative approach to be able to provide data and provide benefit.
Yeah, sounds good. Like collaborating within the industry, seeing each other as partners, not as competitors or something like to that effect. Peter, how was your experience in the breakout? What takeaways would you like to share with us?
Well, it was interesting, and we handled some propositions that we discussed them, and also was a good question on the end of the session about data protection and GDPR. So I could assure everybody what we're doing on this point, because of course this is true. The minute you are collecting data, you put them up to a cloud, then you have a risk. And I could tell everybody how we prevent from hackers to be able to enter our data and what we're doing and how we are certifying our data protection and what we're doing with, I said it, independent official agencies that are testing our data by penetration tests. So I could assure them that our data is safe for them.
Good to hear. All right. Well, thank you, Peter. And that concludes the first part of our session today, the panel discussion and the first breakout. And then it's time to move on to our final part, which is actually a presentation from Nancy and Craig. So I'd like to thank Peter now for his participation in the panel and as breakout moderator. And I'd like, thank you. And I'd like to welcome back, well, they haven't really left, Nancy and Craig, who will talk to us about the expectations that employees nowadays have on how a healthy work environment should look like, what challenges facility managers face in times like these when people come back to the office, and of course how data-driven technologies, how data-driven cleaning industry can help facility managers deal with those challenges. After the presentation, there's another breakout session, but we'll also have some time for Q&A. So if you come up with a question you'd like to ask to Nancy and Craig once during the presentation, feel free to drop them already in the chat so I can ask them afterwards. But for now, please, Nancy, Craig, look forward to hearing from you.
All right. Hello, and thanks for joining this session on how to do more with less. I'm Greg Silber, a key account manager in the UK, and I work for Torque, an Essity brand.
And hi, everyone. If you're just joining us, I am Nancy Farrell, Senior Product Manager for Services and Solutions for Torque as well.
So as discussed in some of the earlier sessions today, hygiene and cleanliness are top priorities for facility managers. Employees are equally concerned about hygiene and expect more from their employers in the workplace. However, facilities have the same, if not fewer, resources than they did before the pandemic. So as an example, as people return to work in offices, what could be more important than providing a healthy work environment by cleaning with the right frequency? Exactly when and where it's needed so that employees can return to work safely. So we're seeing that these higher hygiene standards are here to stay, which is a great thing, but operating in the traditional ways doesn't necessarily meet some of these changing needs of the market. So in order to be able to do more and better with the same or fewer resources, facility managers need to identify new and smarter ways of working. And that's where we feel that we at Torque can help. So for the next few minutes, Nancy and I will discuss how we can do more with less. So first, we'll look at some of the current challenges facility managers and cleaners face today. Secondly, we'll introduce a solution, which is data-driven cleaning. And finally, we'll share some tangible business impact that Torque Vision cleaning, data-driven cleaning can bring. So hopefully by the end of the presentation, you'll understand how to leverage data-driven solutions in order to be able to optimize cleaning and create a more hygienic workplace. So with that, I'll pass it over to Nancy to discuss some of today's cleaning challenges.
You're muted, Nancy, I think.
So as we've talked about over the last few sessions already, there are new and different challenges that have evolved over the past couple of years. Of course, in light of the pandemic, and some of these challenges you'll recognize from even before that, right? So it's not about necessarily all new stuff, but how it's changing things that you may already be familiar with, how it's becoming more complex. And so, we showed some research before, and, to show this as well, before the pandemic and after is a different picture, right? We found that in some research since the pandemic, 3 in 4 employees expect their employer to provide extra cleaning rounds to ensure hygiene. So what does that mean? I mean, it's just a lot more pressure and higher expectations than before, right? There are growing demands, especially on cleaning contractors and cleaning staff. And like Greg was saying, and like we said before in the panel, there often aren't the resources to match. So really how it's been done isn't quite working anymore. And we'll take a look at 3 key challenges that we've heard a lot from facility managers and cleaning contractors over the past couple of years. The first that we touched on before was about cleaning quality, right? And especially today, hygiene. But this has been something traditionally that's been hard to document, right? And Robert was asking before, how can we really see an improvement in quality? And to do that, we really need to understand where the quality is today and what are the objective performance data and metrics that we can assign to something like quality. The second being efficiency. We've been talking about this a lot today, and there's a reason for that, because a top priority is really getting even more work done today in the same amount of time, while still managing costs and balancing everything else. So really every second counts. And historically, businesses have tried to boost efficiency, right, by putting maybe greater demands on the cleaning staff and having them work more hours or clean more spaces in the same amount of time, but maybe they're not able to really allocate as much attention to those areas. So, that type of pressure can actually lead to lower quality and potentially inefficiency and things like staff burnout. And then efficiency is another thing that can be difficult to quantify because everybody knows it makes such a big impact. But how do you show that, both to improve your own way of working over time and also to show it to potentially a client to say that you're doing a good job, making sure that you're using your staff to their full potential and also leveraging your products and solutions to their full potential. Lastly is about cleaning staff engagement. And this is a really important one and sometimes overlooked because staff turnover and absenteeism, staff engagement overall is really critical. You know, facility managers and cleaning contractors can often struggle to ensure that cleaning quality because they have to invest a lot of time to find qualified workers and then constantly train and retrain them. And then with frequent cleaning shift changes and handovers, it can make it harder to account for those responsibilities and have one unified way of working to ultimately support better quality. So the question is, how can we stay on top of it all, right? How can you boost cleaning quality without compromising on efficiency or time? And then how can we do all that while still engaging staff in a good way? And that's really where data-driven cleaning comes in. So I'm going to hand it back over to Greg to take you through some of the key benefits that you can see and how you can solve these challenges.
Thanks, Nancy. So to solve for these challenges, businesses need to be innovative and they need to lean on new technologies and choose the right partners to really make an impact. So we'll look at data-driven solutions and how this can help benefit cleaning operations. One of the ways that data-driven cleaning can benefit is to be able to eliminate unnecessary tasks and to save time. We achieve this by providing real-time data on cleaning needs through people counters as well as connected dispensers. This way, by using data instead of guesswork, senior management, facility managers, and cleaners can make more informed decisions to provide higher cleaning performance and improved customer satisfaction. So next, we'll look at how it addressed each of the three challenges that Nancy mentioned. So first, in terms of looking at quality and hygiene, data-driven cleaning enables cleaning teams to act on that real-time data instead of predetermined schedules. And this helps to empower them to deliver higher quality cleaning more efficiently. So by knowing exactly what is needed, when and where, cleaning staff can respond to dispenser and cleaning needs when needed and act on complaints before they occur. So this proactive and data-driven approach to cleaning has been proven to dramatically improve hygiene. In fact, in a survey of 34 Torque Vision cleaning customers, 100% of them said that the system helped to improve hygiene in their facility. Additionally, 85% said it helped to support a safer environment during the pandemic. The next area is looking around efficiency. So by moving from static cleaning rounds into more need-based work, cleaning staff can focus their time on attention on what's required, exactly where and when it's needed. And this means they free up time by eliminating unnecessary cleaning rounds and unnecessary dispenser checks, and they know that what they're doing really matters. So this dramatic increase in efficiency is achieved by eliminating some of these unnecessary dispenser checks, also some of the over and under cleaning that often takes place. So 82% of Torque customers said that they improved efficiency as a result of using our system. Additionally, we've seen that with dispenser checks, customers can reduce unnecessary dispenser checks by 91%. Which achieves hundreds of hours of a year in savings. So we see something really quite small like a dispenser check, which is done quite often throughout a day in a busy facility, can generate big increases in efficiency. So one of our office customers reduced their unnecessary dispenser checks by 92%, and that freed up about 3 hours a day in time for other tasks. And finally, and most importantly, really around cleaning staff engagement. So when it comes to retention and satisfaction, data-driven cleaning helps businesses make workforce well-being a priority. So by allowing cleaning teams to work smarter, not harder, cleaners feel more in control of their work. It helps to reduce stress, and at the same time, they're able to be much more effective. So you'll see here a quote from a member of La Providence cleaning staff. And they're saying with data-driven cleaning, they know exactly where to go for cleaning or restocking. It's more convenient and comfortable, and it's nice to work with a modern digital device. So with that, I'll hand it back over to Nancy to discuss some of the business value that data-driven cleaning can generate.
Thanks, Greg. So really tying it all together, you heard about these great benefits that Greg took you through. And data-driven cleaning systems, such as Torque Vision Cleaning, can really enable service contractors to create bottom line results and help stay competitive and innovative. And that can really help retain clients, attract new ones, and increase performance in the marketplace, which we know has always been highly competitive and today is more so than ever. We wanted to show an example to really illustrate this for you. This is from a Torque Vision Cleaning company, customer, a manufacturing site. And you can see from the before and after picture that by switching to data-driven cleaning, they saw more than 85% less time with empty dispensers. But what does that really mean? So they freed up nearly 4 hours per day, or 1,400 hours per year, to have more time to do other critical cleaning tasks. So think about how this helped them optimize their labor and make an impact, especially in 2020 during that very challenging pandemic period. Ensuring that they had these dispensers stocked also meant that their employees had access to critical hygiene products. And I know today I've talked to you a lot about how we're seeing these trends, right? And how hygiene is top of mind. So they want to make sure that you always have soap and sanitizer and hand towels, to wash your hands and practice good hand hygiene. In a manufacturing or other type of 24/7 always on setting, you can also think about this in terms of worker productivity. For example, if somebody walks into a washroom and they experience that the dispensers are empty or it's dirty, and then they have to walk all the way across the facility to another washroom, that's also precious minutes spent where they could go about their business and return to work much more quickly if everything is in good working order. So again, every minute counts, and it can be used in different ways as it relates to hygiene, efficiency, productivity, and really ultimately savings. Another example is from our customer, the World Trade Center in Amsterdam. They saw that they improved the cleaning quality, and the time it took to clean their areas was reduced by 27%. And all the while, the availability of their hand hygiene products shot up to nearly 100%. And they had an absolute minimum of complaints, according to them. So you can really see that you don't have to sacrifice one thing for the other. With data-driven cleaning, you can improve a lot of things at the same time and sort of have it all. And their quote here is really about how they were able to do this, right? They could improve quality while keeping costs low, which is sort of a unique combination. Data-driven cleaning at the end of the day is about transforming the way of working to being based on concrete data, which really leads to creating smooth precision work. And never has that been more important today, because you're not just creating that nice atmosphere for everybody, but you're expected to create a safe and hygienic atmosphere. So, again, there's no denying that higher hygiene standards are really here to stay. And if we want different results, we need to make a change in how we're doing what we've always done. So we've explored, 3 of these key challenges and the benefits that data-driven cleaning can really bring, right? We've talked about increasing quality and hygiene, optimizing efficiency, and empowering your team. And all of this really leads to not just supporting better facility hygiene, but also labor savings, time savings, many key goals and metrics that companies are looking to achieve. Greg and I will be hosting a couple breakout sessions after this where we can dive in a little deeper and also continue to talk about, how certain pieces of the software can really support you in different ways. That's it for our presentation here with the slides. We're glad to take any questions or bring those into the breakouts as well. But thank you for your time, for those of you who tuned in, and I will hand it back to Robert to see if we have any questions.
Robert, microfoon.
Okay, I think he's muted, so maybe I'll look in the chat here. I think we do have some questions.
Sorry about that, I was muted.
Oh,
Now,
no
I was
worries.
thanking the two of you for your presentation. I was saying that after your presentation and your role in the panel discussion, no one can deny the importance of data-driven cleaning. Data-driven cleaning in general, or torque-efficient cleaning in specific, can it just be used in any facility?
Yes, like Greg was saying, you know, they were talking about the segmentation during their breakouts, and we've really found that this applies to, you know, every type of facility. And so, you know, it's not just commercial sectors, right? Of course, those are, you know, very demanding because of the high traffic and high volumes. But as you saw the example from our manufacturing customer, you know, it's very applicable in industrial settings, healthcare, especially today, right? And especially in those high traffic areas where people are coming in and out, and, you know, a lot of touch areas. So you can really think about this across a variety of different industries.
So, all right, thank you. A few questions from the audience as well. A question from Rob. He is asking, what is the role of cleaning staff in the washroom experience? Does efficiency give them more time to spend with the customer, to make them more visible to the customer user?
Sure, Greg, would you like to take that one?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I think depending on the environment, you know, we sometimes see that that cleaning staff, you know, in a retail establishment and an airport, you know, they're sometimes doing more than just cleaning, and they're providing directions. They're answering, you know, questions of visitors and stuff as well. So, you know, I think there's two takes on it. One is that, you know, cleaning staff is sometimes doing a lot of other things, which this can help to lend itself to. Another thing is, you know, visibility, which is maybe where the question was going to, in terms of there was a lot of nighttime cleaning. And I think during the pandemic, we're seeing it's really important for the cleaning within facilities to be visible. And so, you know, the uniforms and making this hygiene, you know, advisor, hygiene consultant, someone who's quite visible within a facility is important for that reassurance as we visit offices, public spaces, you know, whatever it may be.
Yeah. Thank you. Another question, I think it touches a little bit on the privacy point that was addressed earlier in the discussion, which is from Stefan. He is asking, can data-driven cleaning cause more stress for cleaning staff since they are being monitored?
Yeah, you know, that is a common question, but to be honest, I mean, the monitoring aspect, right, is sort of the same whether they're using a technical platform or digital platform versus, you know, a non, because it's sort of about the management style, right? What we find is actually a lot of positivity, you know, with implementing data-driven cleaning. And that's because cleaners aren't necessarily feeling like they're being more monitored. They're actually feeling like they're able to prove that they're doing better work. Because if you think about complaints that come in, oftentimes cleaners are the first one blamed for those complaints. And it's oftentimes not their fault, right? It's not because they did bad cleaning or, you know, something like that. It might be because they weren't able to get there in time, or they just didn't know. And so the complaint happens and then the cleaner gets blamed. With data-driven cleaning, the cleaner can really respond and take action before that, because the managers are trusting them and putting the data in their fingertips, right? So they have a tablet that's telling them where to go and what to do. And so it gives them a more professional, more digital way of working. And then when the manager can see those results too, they can see why the cleaner maybe wasn't able to clean a space, or why the cleaner, you know, wasn't able to respond to a complaint. And then they can take that data and actually change their way of working over time. Because if a cleaner is consistently missing certain areas, they can say, hey, you know, I've noticed that there are a lot of complaints coming from, you know, this washroom or this conference area. You know, I think that we need to change the cleaning round to match that. And so it's really a lot of good effects for the cleaner. And we've had cleaners tell us, you know, after using the system for a couple of years, they said, I really don't know what I would do without it. I think I might just, you know, just leave, because I can't go back to doing what I was doing before.
That sounds like a good answer. A couple of detailed questions from Patrick, Raymond, and Janet on the type of production cost, the type of customers that are using it, type of number of customers who are using it. So I'd like to invite them to ask that question in the breakout. I'd like to close off then with a question from Miriam, who's asking, will you be showing this product at Interclean in May?
Yes, absolutely. It'll be a big focal point at Interclean, so you can definitely come and check it out, take a software demo drive. We'll have a lot of other great things with digitalization, including our interactive healthcare trainings. So if you're either in the healthcare industry or interested, those are really cool VR goggles that you can put on and do some interactive training. So lots of great digital elements related to our new innovations and hygiene solutions.
Great, look forward to that. Well, and with that, I'd like to close the presentation part and move on to our second breakout. Craig and Nancy will be moderating that breakout again, and they'll go deep dive a little bit more into benefits of data-driven cleaning and torque vision cleaning. So after the breakout, we'll return here in the main session, and that will then conclude today's Interclean innovation and inspiration session. But first, I'd like to invite you to go back to the breakouts, turn on your camera, turn on your mic, and get interactive with Craig and Nancy. So if I could please ask the people behind the scenes to start breakouts again. Hello and welcome back here in the main room of Interclean Online. Just like before, if you're coming back here, please turn off your camera and microphone, except of course for our moderators, Nancy and Craig. Please bear with us as everybody comes back into our main room. And there comes everybody else. Yes, welcome back, everyone. Just like before, unless your name is Craig Silber or Nancy Farrell, I'd like to ask you to please turn off your camera and microphone so that we can, oh, the lights just went off in the room where I'm sitting. What's your most interesting takeaway?
Yeah, a bit of background noise. Hopefully people can hear me okay. Good discussions in our group. You know, a lot of it was around some of the technical requirements, some of the data, existing, you know, hardware and dispensers and stuff. So yeah, some quite technical conversations, but hopefully, you know, what people realize is that it is quite easy to get started. There's minimal requirements, and it's something that can, yeah, you know, doesn't have any real technical limitations. It's just about getting started, basically. Getting started, yeah.
Nancy, anything you'd like to add to that?
Yes, we saw, you know, some of the comments coming in from the group about how their lives or their works has changed in the past couple of years. Definitely efficiency and quality, you know, were the big ones there. So I think it comes as no surprise. It really reinforces everything that we're talking about here today and the importance of those types of things and potentially the solutions that can help you achieve those things.
Thank you, and thank you both for your hard work today, moderating two sessions and giving a presentation. So thank you very much for your time, and Nancy, of course, even also for joining us as a panel. And for the viewers back home, thank you also for joining us today at our last Interclean Online Innovation and Inspiration session before Interclean Amsterdam. The lights went back on. I'm not in the dark anymore. That said, we are going to move forward with our preparations for Interclean Amsterdam in May. We're looking forward to bringing the industry together. Of course, digitalization, robotization, automated cleaning is just one of the many topics that will be addressed at the event. Sustainability, that we talked about in our online webinar in November, will have an important role, and of course also hygiene, the importance of cleaning and hygiene to create safe and healthy environments, and of course innovation in general. What has happened in terms of innovation? What new products are coming to the market? Registration is open, so I invite you to go to our website intercleanshow.com and register for the event in May. And I, of course, look forward to seeing you there because I'm tired of talking to you through a camera screen. Thank you all for joining, and I look forward to seeing you in May.
Thanks for having us. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. See you next time. See you on the Interclean.
Thank you. Bye-bye.